Thank you so much for chatting with us today.
No,
it's going to be fun. I hope some of you got the chance to see Seberg last night. So we're going to talk about that film in a bit, but just talking a little bit more generally about your career. And you started acting when you were very young. Do you remember what sort of drove you then? Were you a kid who liked dressing up or putting on plays in the living room, or what drove you to act at that age?
I was very shy when I was younger, and so the idea of being a performer was a bit of a shock to anyone that knew me. I definitely wasn't, definitely not inclined to be the one getting up on a stage and telling stories.
Okay.
But I was exposed to film sets at a young age, luckily, and uniquely. I grew up in Los Angeles. My mom was a script supervisor, and my dad was a first AD. And so script supervisor works really closely with the director, and it's sort of this really important position. It's like the keeper. It's sort of a log keeping position. You sort of keep track of everything. You give your script with notes all over it to the editor, so he can like sort of make heads and tails of what you've done on set. So I just had this like immense honor. I just was like, this is the coolest play. The team aspect of it, and the process, like just top to bottom, was something that I would have done anything for. And as a little kid, the only thing you can do on a set, the only thing that you can contribute is, being an actor. And so I was like, any way that I can hang out and not have to go to school and do this instead. I was into, so yeah, that's how I started.
Yeah, and did you feel like you had to sort of overcome your shyness, or was it because you're playing a part, it's a bit different than you putting yourself out there?
Yeah, I guess so, but like, I mean, when you want to get as close to something as physically and emotionally and humanly possible, so it does I never feel like I'm stepping into a complete, I don't feel protected by characters. I feel, if anything, the goal is to really feel that discomfort, and if that's what it is, live in that, and if you try and sort of control too much or lock it up, you're kind of depriving yourself of a really genuine experience. And again, it's like acting is this weird misleading word, like you're pretending or like you're putting something on. It's like, no, it's, if anything, you're just trying to get to the realest place you possibly can get.
So quite raw and open, I guess, and exposed.
That's the goal.
Rather than protected. Yeah. One of your first big roles was in Panic Room. And how old were you then? Were you something like?
I turned 11 on that.
11. Okay. And do you remember the sort of first day of meeting Jodie Foster or working on that film? Was that exciting? Was it terrifying? What was it like?
She's a scary lady. She's like my height. Well, she actually came onto the movie a little bit later. I auditioned for that movie for what felt like months. I think, somebody else had gotten the part, and a couple months later, I don't know, something didn't work out. I ended up going back in, and I felt like I did that movie for what felt like years. The shoot was 8 months. Sort of in a truncated way, and then the audition process and the rehearsal process, it was like, at the end of it, I think I started sort of towards the beginning of 10 and turned 11 on the movie, and I rehearsed with Nicole Kidman for 2 weeks, and the similarities that me and Jodie have, it's really coincidental. I got so lucky, like I was cast before her, which is crazy because we kind of look alike, and I feel like her kid. Like that it just felt really natural, and so oddly enough, it wasn't the order in which you would have assumed that took place.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she had also started acting quite young. Did you sort of feel a bond? Did she help you with any tips? I mean, you're only 11. I don't know how many acting tips you can give an 11-year-old.
I think I was just so lucky to absorb her energy at that age. She's such a fucking wonderful figurehead to have on a set. She's really somebody that you want to follow, and being the lead actor on a set is not necessarily a position that always comes with leadership. Sometimes people kind of fall in line or become part of the scenery, or they're kind of separate and the hierarchy gets into their head and they become sort of not part of the team. She literally is the most inclusive, rallying, really chill, very normal, kind of comforting presence on a set. So I was lucky to have like my first example of a movie star be like such a person of like insane integrity, and she's funny and like doesn't take anything too seriously, but is so good at what she does, and she's like literally the epitome of cool. She's a very cool person.
Yes, we think you're a very cool person too. I mean, what do you think your energy is like on a set now?
I'm a fucking asshole.
Are you quite calm when you're working, or how do you approach going to set every day?
It totally depends. Harnessing fear and anxiety is great, but I've kind of grown out of requiring it as like the only foothold that I have into something. It used to be kind of, as you get older, it becomes easier to trust yourself and trust the process and know that whatever transpires in the next few days, by the end of this week of shooting or whatever, whatever you find, if you put yourself in the right spot, something will happen. Something worthwhile will happen if you've aligned with the right creative partners, and the desire is there and the impulse is there. I used to just put so much pressure on myself, and I thought that was going to be the one thing that like kicked me into being able to do it. And now I'm like, I can be a little more thoughtful and kind of go like, I don't need to torture myself about it, so that's nice. It's just like, I think I'm gonna live a longer life. This kind of stress like takes years off. It's physically not very good for you.
No. What was the collaboration like on Twilight, the Twilight films? You were still young. Became this huge franchise. Did you know how big it would be when you first got cast? It was a big deal, I guess. The books already.
I guess the books were a big deal. Like in the young adult novel realm of the world, but it wasn't something that was in like pop culture yet. It wasn't. I hadn't heard of the book at that point. I was auditioning for like a, normal movie. It wasn't something that stuck out as like this, gaping opportunity. It was just something that I liked. And it was great. I mean, like, that was a cool audition process too. Me and Catherine worked together for ages, and then like, auditioned a bunch of other people for all the other parts, and it was very normal, like until it wasn't. Yeah.
And what did you enjoy about playing Bella in particular, that role?
When you read that book, you can you are her. It's such a sort of immersive experience. So I felt more so than with most other parts that I've played. I felt like I could, the way to really get as close to it and make it really feel true is just really own it and like take that experience and make it really my own, rather than being so faithful to a text that suddenly we're kind of doing an impression. I guess I could say this about most work, but this in particular, it was just fun to be there. I don't know. I was a teenager. It was such like a visceral sort of time to be alive, as any 17-year-old knows what I'm talking about. I think it was just about capturing that sort of like, just that thing. I don't even know how to, you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm like? It's like
something real about.
Yeah, it's just something so immediate. Yeah. Just like that first sort of awakening of like ownership of your body and desire and all of it. Just like and like having, a bunch of people tell you that it's wrong and that you shouldn't do it. And, it's like, just like a fierce commitment to something that you believe in was such a cool story to tell at that age.
Right. And that film obviously those films changed your life, your career, I would imagine. You suddenly went from being a person that, probably a few people knew and a few people in the industry were pursuing, to being more sort of globally recognized on the street, which I imagine is a big change, but also just in the film industry. I imagine a lot of different kinds of projects were pursuing you. And so how did you know what to do next, or what you wanted to do from there? Because you had a lot of choices, I imagine.
I never... I never looked at this point in my career, or really anything thereafter, as being like a time to strike. You know what I mean? Like, I've been so lucky. I've never in my life been bored. I've never reached a point where I've not found people and stimulus and partners in crime, people to tell stories with. So yeah, I never looked at I never went like, oh man, this is like my time. I've got to do anything I want now. Totally. Well, being an actor is so weird. It requires other people to ask you to do your art. I can't sit in my room and do that by myself. You know what I mean? It's So I've been wanting to make movies since I was a little kid. I'm luckily like at the point where I'm hopefully going to make this movie next year. I want to direct this film that I've adapted, and so that's I would say, like, if I were to be able to step outside of my situation and analyze it, which I never really have to do unless I'm doing interviews. It would be like, only now is it like, okay, I feel more proactive. As an actor, I'm kind of in service to other people's, projects. And I love that. I love being a sort of hired hand that, I really love servicing another person's vision, but it requires that always. So I never felt like I was like, oh, now I know what I'm going to do. It's like I still need people to hire me.
And you mentioned partners in crime, and one of your great partners in crime, I imagine, is Olivier Assayas, who you've done 2 films with. Why did you collaborate so well with him? Or he's a really interesting director. Did you enjoy that process of working with him?
Yeah, he's the best. He's a fucking genius. He's such a weirdo. He's really brilliant.
So I think they've had some of the films here. It's Clouds of SILS MARIA and Personal Shopper. I think both films were probably in Zurich in the past.
Oh, cool. He's the most unpredictable. The layers of his ability really just astound me as somebody who's worked with him, and also somebody who just has sort of consumed his library of work. It's like you never know where he's coming from, and somehow he always acts like he's also come to it by surprise. Like he has I don't think it's false modesty either. I think he genuinely feels like sometimes these stories come through him like this, like religious experience, like they are things that happen to him. And he always says that by the end of writing a script or by the end of making a movie, he's like, I had no idea what I was doing. It just sort of came out, and it's like, he's just like the least self-aggrandizing person. He like is the most compulsive, strange, brilliant person. We never even talk to each other that much. It's all like very by feel, and I think we're both very spectrum-y, weird, have like a hard time talking to each other until it's completely done, and then there's always this feeling of like exuberant expression. This all sounds really wanky, but it's true. Like, yeah, it's true.
And does that mean, you're on a set of, let's say, Personal Shopper? Is he, keeping to a script really tightly? Is he letting for sort of happy accidents to happen on set and discovery on set?
There's always like a hugely free, unbridled environment. And then somehow always we look at the day's work and think about how everything fell off the truck and ultimately how he cuts it together. And it's the script precisely. Oh. And it's shocking though, because whenever I'm there, I feel like I'm allowed to control pace, everything. It's like he never tells me if I walk into a room and it's like one line of action on a page and it takes 15 minutes as opposed to 30 seconds, he's like, great. I mean, we could do it as much as you want. Like, he's not, yeah, so somehow.
But yet it comes back around to what
he's a genius. Yeah, no, it's like, you're like, oh, really? You didn't plan for any of this, really? Except it's perfect. Like, it's exactly what you wanted. So yeah, I don't know how he does it. It's like this weird chemical thing.
Might you work with him again? Do you know?
I mean, I would be so lucky, yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I mean, I think he has, I saw him recently. We've been catching each other more frequently recently, which has been rad. And he works constantly. I think the last time I saw him, though, I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, I think very, very soon it's going to be
Okay,
good. So
we're glad to hear that. And let's talk about your new film, Seberg, directed by Benedict Andrews, about the life of Jean Seberg, but not a sort of straightforward biopic at all, because it's really concentrating on this very fraught time in her life. And, you know, why was Benedict somebody you wanted to work with, and why Jean's story was interesting to you?
I had worked with, I spent a little bit of time with Cate Blanchett on the jury at Cannes. And I had just met Benno, and I was like, I'm thinking about working with this guy, and she was like, do it immediately. She had worked with him on stage, and he's this sort of really renowned opera director, and this is a realm I really know very, very, very little about, and so I was like, I'm kind of gotten to a point where rather than being sort of so reckless about projects as an actor, I'm never worried about making a bad movie per se. I never need everything top to bottom to be perfect. Like, I like taking risk on younger directors. I maybe if a script's not perfect, if there's something about it, I'm fully willing to be like, well, I just want this one thing. But now I'm like, wait, chill out a little bit and like maybe kind of cultivate this experience so you can make things that are slightly sometimes more satisfying. So in this case, it was a bit of a risk working with someone. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Una.
It was his first film after doing lots of theater. Yeah,
it's incredible, and it's so contained, and it's just an undeniably original movie. His perspective is incredibly singular, and the way that the first meeting that I had with him about Jean, he just felt so precious and particular, and this protective nature felt really contagious, and he made me want to get to know her. I at that point had seen Breathless, like nothing else. Yeah, so in learning about the story, I was just really, really wildly blown away by the fact that we don't know what happened to her and why she receded and became somebody who we kind of lost too early. So, yeah.
When you're playing somebody we've seen so much, like Jean Seberg, how do you stop it from being like an impersonation? You could watch old files of her in old films.
I'm not good enough.
Yeah, no, but you just sort of inhabit her rather than like playing her peculiarities or tics or anything.
Yeah.
Is it harder playing a real person?
Yeah, it's different. I think she's so widely known and coveted. She's such an icon, and there are ways in which we wanted to sort of pull those headlines back and get an albeit imaginative look at what it might have felt like during this time of her life, which was the most tumultuous. I don't know if not everyone here even knows what the movie's about, but it's, the FBI really intensely and illegally surveyed her and lied about her in the press and felt threatened by her activism, which supported Black nationalist groups and equality. And that was at that point like the biggest threat to America, which is still happening and very sad and shitty. And in playing her, all of that was like, there was so much that we couldn't know about her that I would be kind of forcing myself out of it if I was really overly aware of like doing a perfect impression of her. I mean, like there are certain footholds, like you can like hang your hat on a certain quality of voice, and some clothes, really beautifully designed wardrobe helps. and a
good
sort
haircut.
of energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, energy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like certain things just didn't matter, because if you really lived and breathed it, people would feel like, you know, you were her.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was her, you know, off screen as well. Most of us don't know what she was like off screen, as you're saying. Next up, and this is where I love your career keeps surprising us, Charlie's Angels. And you've been doing a lot of more independent,
very serious stuff.
Yes, but you have been doing maybe more independent films or auteur type films. Why did you want to do Charlie's Angels? Are you happy with it? Was it a fun process? Yeah.
It was really fun, and I really like. I think Liz is really funny.
Elizabeth Banks, director.
Yeah. So Elizabeth Banks spearheaded that whole situation. It was her idea to revive the whatever you call it, like the series, whatever, the movies, and I had never worked with her before. I've always just been a huge fan. I think tonally we're so different. I think she can kind of squeeze a joke or a laugh out of anything, and I am like just the farthest version. I don't know. We just have like completely different impulses, and I was so shocked that she kind of saw me and was like, "Hey, you're a goofball, and I think that we should play around together because nobody does that with you." And I was like, "What? You're right. Nobody ever does that with me."
Yeah.
And so she kind of like got in there, and it was like just sort of this really tender act. Like I was so thankful. And then ultimately, she wrote a really, really warm, grounded, also very silly, stupid, kind of sometimes slapstick, but also kind of really well-intentioned movie. And it's rad. It's like she took like this story that we've grown up with. We've seen it. She took this like superhero aspect out of it and made the girls really real and relatable and like really accessible, but also very aspirational. Like there's this network of women across the globe that are connected that are really unstoppable. So it's not like there's these three like, you know,
unattainable.
Yeah, exactly. Like they can fly and do kung fu while suspended in the air. It's like, no, these girls are actually like smart, and it's about women who are friends, who are good people working. And so yeah, it's kind of just about it's like a women at work story. That's also just kind of absurd sometimes, but like you didn't lose the kitschy thing because she's fucking silly.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And are you a goofball?
I mean, I don't know, sometimes.
A little bit? Okay. Did you enjoy the sort of comedy of it, the action parts of it?
Yeah. My character is like wily. I mean, she, like, I'm kind of like the older sister, really irresponsible older sister that, takes care of these girls. Like, I'm kind of like the last, like Sabina would take a bullet for you, but she never really knows like what time it is or where she's supposed to be, or like, so yeah, it was fun to be kind of, just a dumbass.
Okay. Do you want to do more of the fun dumbass? I guess it has to be with exactly the right person, like Elizabeth. Okay.
You know, I would love to like play around a little bit more. I mean, I like serious movies, but yeah, of course.
And we're excited that you're going to be directing your first feature. You've done a short film and you've done some music videos that you've directed. It's called The Chronology of Water, and it's based on a memoir by a woman in LA, I think.
She's a Portland-based writer.
Portland, sorry. And yeah, tell us why this story has sort of captured your imagination enough that you want to direct it.
It was just such an incredible experience reading the book. There, sometimes you encounter material that like just articulates something that you weren't able to yet feels so within you. It's striking as hell when someone does it for you. And so yeah, that happened. And it's like an exceedingly cool time for women to tell stories right now. The perspective is changing. I thought that this was so real in terms of this woman. She's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant writer. The way that she has like repossessed language is crazy. she uses language in a way that I've never ever seen before, and that's a great writer. It's like a good filmmaker has this singular vision. This writer plays with words in a way I've never seen, and also there's a coming of age story embedded in this thing that is so confronting and not just raw for the sake of being startling, but is actually real. And I don't think that it's impossible for a male perspective to tell some of the most epic female stories. It's just that this is so embedded and so inside of it, and basically the movie and the book is about a woman processing pain and shame, and repurposing it and sort of creating art as savior, and it's sort of like this art as savior and swimming as solace story, and it's a real like word body fuck story. It's so completely, the way she inhabits having a body and the way she speaks about it is unlike anything I've ever read, so I want to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen that in a movie.
And are you writing the script, or is she going to help you adapt it, or how do you?
It's definitely like a collaborative process, but I've adapted it, and yeah, it's such a choose your own adventure story that like whoever would have ended up making it, it really has to be your own
take on it. So,
yeah. It's like there's so much to be had. It's so nonlinear. It's so transient. It's like water. It's like impossible to slip down the same stream. It's true though. Like it's
And will you star in it? I don't even know if you're the right age to play the part, or will you just stay behind the camera, or what do you think?
I'm not really right for it.
Yeah.
Who I think. Whoever ends up playing the part needs to be able to play like 17 to 40 though. It's like a really wide kind of I don't really know who that is, but
but you'll find her.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's
Great. I would love to open it up. I know we've got people in the audience dying to ask some questions. So we have a microphone we're going to bring around. Can we go? That guy was first, and then that guy, and then we can come to the front. I think, yes, this man and the...
Well, I can speak up.
Oh, the mic's coming. It's almost there. He's ready.
Very loud. One question. First of all, what impressed me most yesterday at the screening, that you were not putting... Oh, sorry. Now I have to go down a little bit. Yeah.
Simmer down.
Well, one of the best moments is when the journalist asks you, how did you go into the concept of this movie with the director? You said, well, ask him. That was a big laugh yesterday at the screening. But the question I wanted to ask you, you are, what I liked most was that you were not trying to do an imitation of Jean. And I know Jean very well. I did my first movie with her.
Oh.
And yes, and the second, and...
Who is this guy?
Sorry. Well, if you laugh at it, the screenplay that was called Diamonds Are Brittle, and Jean was starring in it, and the screenplay was written right here in Zurich. Oh. And we shot the movie in Lausanne and Geneva, making fun of the Zurich police, and we put the Zurich police into costumes of the Geneva police, so we could always say it's the other ones. So now I come back to the question. Sorry, no, I don't want.
This guy should do a masterclass.
But I also worked, did a movie with Jodie Foster, and I was wondering if the starting point of your movie here, you showed, did you talk about Jean Seberg while shooting Panic Room? Because Panic Room is also, the parallel is that what I liked most about your performance is the energy you put into the way Jean, who is a victim, is fighting back. That was the great thing for me. And the same situation was in Panic Room, and I was wondering if you might want to come back to the comedy and the light side, because of course the episode you treated with the movie Seberg was a very sad and very dark experience. And I had the privilege to be on the sunny side of her destiny, and which is of course very important. So in the future, would you like to go back to comedy, and should we go to William Morris to submit stuff?
Wow, thank you.
Wait, what was that last bit?
Would you like to go back to comedy and less serious stuff, I think? No?
Do you say something about, well, it doesn't matter. Okay. I think I misheard. Yeah. Jodie Foster was really fascinated with Jean and really wanted to, I think for a long time she possessed the rights to a certain aspect of her life, or maybe like even her life rights, I'm not sure.
The little girl who lives down the lane, you know? Have you seen it?
I have, no.
Oh, you should see it.
Yeah.
Did you talk with Jodie when you were getting
No,
ready?
so no, I mean, gosh, I was like 11 years old. I didn't even know who
Yeah,
Jean
no.
Seberg was. I'd never seen Breathless. And so I haven't talked to Jodie about that. In regards to not doing an impression of her, and also, it's important to highlight that she was insanely exuberant. This girl was like, she was the most, I mean, from the narrow impression that I was able to gather through the limited reference, which is like nothing, other than her films, which did show a progressive receding in that energy, which is the saddest thing about watching her life sort of diminish. In the beginning of her career, she's like, her energy protrudes, it comes at you so hard. It's literally like the most like, it's so affecting that the most intimidating thing for me was not the unraveling and the persecution and the sort of victimization of her. It was like to make sure that the loss of that energy through that sort of more violent part of the movie was only really felt if in the beginning you kind of at some point got this flash from her. And then we only had like a little bit of time to tell that part of the story, but when you watch anything, her work is like fire. I mean, it is, tonally we're not the same. And so that was the most intimidating thing for me, was making sure that her face like hung out in the way that it did, and that I could smile as big as her, that she was just so kind of unpredictable and yeah.
Can we go to this guy's question first?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Can't see.
Hi, I'm from Moscow, and I have question. When I speak English is not very well.
It's okay. You're doing fine.
When will come to Moscow?
Oh, you've been invited.
My question. Yes.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, at this point, I don't have any plans yet.
Have you been to Russia before?
I've never been to Russia.
Okay.
Yeah, this is tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank
Maybe
you.
one day.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did you have a question? We have a question in the front row, and then in the second row, and then there, and then there. Okay. Hopefully, everybody has to be quick. Okay.
Yes, my question is about Twilight. People like you so much. Is there any moment that you would like to recall? And the other question would be, do you guys stay in touch? Is there like something like a WhatsApp group of Twilight yet?
We're all in a big group chat. Was there a moment I recall? I mean, I don't. You want a Twilight?
Anecdote.
Yeah. Like so many. I mean, yeah, like a lot of things.
Just one.
I don't know. Like what? Yeah, I know what you want. Okay, let's see.
Really, there's none. Just you choose.
Yeah. Literally, I'm totally not like. I have a million things that I remember about it. It was like 5 movies. It was like a long. It's like going to high school. It's like saying like remember one moment from high school. There were lots, and we all see each other. I run into people all the time. I can't make it to Taylor's Halloween party, which bums me out. I want to be in New York. Rob's great. He's doing well. He's going to be Batman. I'm very proud of him. Yeah, I don't know. It's nice. In terms of the group, we've all disbanded now for so long. I have individual relationships with everyone, but it's not like this thing that you would assume like binds us in this way where we're like, oh, remember that? It's like, it really, we've kind of all become real whole people that still know each other. Yeah. And that's right. I'm really thankful for that. Yeah.
You're all adults now. That's good. Oh gosh, I forgot who I promised. Second row, and then that lady, and then that lady.
Hi. First of all, thank you so much for coming here today and last night to the premiere. It was really special. And my question is, actually, and I hope that's okay, about your tattoos, because you have so many and so cool ones. How do you go about choosing them?
Yeah, my family, like my mom is fully sleeved, my brother is too. I have to be very choosy because I'm an actor. I think if I wasn't, I'd have a lot more. One thing is I definitely like want to keep them to my extremities. Like I could never tattoo anything other than my arms. I would be like, doesn't feel right. No, I think they're all really different. This one's like kind of from the root of this one says swim. It's like Come Swim is my short film, but it has like, it's not just in relation to that short film. The film was like really personal, so it's I'm really afraid of water, so it's sort of like be in that anyway. Yeah, I mean, this is like kind of like a charm bracelet thing. They're all different. They're all really kind of personal and also really not very precious. Like I never need to go to like a really good tattoo artist. It's always like in the moment. And yeah, all my tattoos are really shitty, but I like them.
Maybe we can find you a place in Zurich before we fly out. We'll go to this woman, and then that woman is next.
Hi, Kristen. My question is, what do you find the biggest difference between the European movie industry and the US movie industry? And I always think you belong here, like to Europe. So are you more inclined to participate more movies in Europe? Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't take like a super observant person to see that there's an industry that drives most filmmaking in the States that's kind of entertainment based and it's an industry. So there are like sort of presupposed marks to hit that are based on equations versus impulse. And there's just no way to make a movie like that. Like there's no way to it's just it, yeah. The only way to tell a story that's like worth telling is to do it just sort of so faithfully. If you start like basically what I'm saying is like too many cooks in the kitchen based on like whatever number you're afraid of is going to be a disjointed and untrue experience. And that's why a lot of studio movies suck. And it's like, it'd be great to make big, huge movies for a lot of money that are just committed to one notion. I think they would make more money. I think people would like them more. I think people have to have like more faith in audience. It's crazy. Like people want good things. And in Europe, there's some of that for sure. But then primarily there's a culture that really accepts that expression and kind of allows for people to be more unique, and so I have found like a pretty welcome spot here in some cases. But then like, my favorite, I'm in no way like super steeped in European film culture. I just like the feeling. American independent cinema is something I know way more about, and so we have the opportunity to do that in the States. It's just like a little bit less prevalent compared to what we think Hollywood is. Yeah.
And we have time for one more question, and this lady I've promised in the middle of this row. Oh, it's coming.
Hello. So I just wanted to say I think you're a huge inspiration to me, and I love your vibes and personality. And I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to someone wanting to become an actress, and like how would you go about chasing your dreams?
Oh, just that small question. Yeah. How do you live your dreams?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think like logistically speaking, I have no advice. It's like it's the strangest art form because you can't, like I was saying, do it alone. Like if it's again, like it's the same reason that it's kind of just piggybacking on the last answer. If it's coming from the right place, and if like the goal is to tell stories with other people and dig up unexpected weird treasures and like bury yourself while doing it, that's like why people want to be actors, and that's where you'll wind up somewhere doing that. And like, you know, whatever like noise in your head or sort of external noise saying like, you know, like, who the fuck are you? We're all the same. And so like everyone has something to say, and yeah, it's hard to find somewhere to say it, and that's the bitch of it all. But if it's coming from the right spot, there's always somewhere, you know what I mean? You'll always find like your people, and I mean that's kind of idealistic, but I believe that.
Great. I think that's some good advice to wrap on. I'm sorry we didn't get to all your questions. Kristen needs to get to the airport. So thank you so much for bringing Seberg here. Thank you for the very open chat. I would request that everybody stay seated while Kristen leaves, because she really does have to go to the airport. So thank you so much, and see you again here sometime, we hope. Thank you.